Welcome back to One on One. I'm Casey Stark, and I'm pleased to welcome Rich Ryan and Tom Waterman to the show to talk college football. Tom, the season's first BCS poll will be released October 18th, and there will undoubtedly be controversy. Do you think FBS football should adopt an FCS-like plan and have a playoff?
I don't think so, because this is not like college basketball. There aren't any Cinderellas here, and there certainly aren't any glass slippers. You got to go with the two best teams throughout the season. That's all 12 or 13 games. We don't need a team that's going to win 2 or 3 games or get hot at the end of the season to be there. The two best teams throughout the year. And I don't even think there's enough teams to make the argument to have a playoff. There aren't 8, there aren't 16 teams that can make an argument for being the best team in the country. There are 2, maybe 3. That's why the BCS system is the best we can do.
Come on, Tom. Where's the fun in that? Look, I'm a man of the fans, and over the past few years, the fans have shown that they want a playoff system. The BCS is fundamentally flawed. College sports were set up for student athletes, and the BCS takes away from them. It puts numbers into a computer and tells players on Texas last year that even though they beat Oklahoma, you can't play in the national championship game. Or Utah, you go undefeated, guess what? You can't play in the national championship game. And they prove that they're a great team by beating up on Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. I think the BCS is completely flawed. I really think we need a playoff system.
See, that's why the bowl system is so great. It gives so many teams the opportunity to continue their season and play in December and the beginning of January. I mean, there are 30-something bowl games. That's 60 teams that get to end their season the right way. And that's playing in a bowl game, their Super Bowl. And it's great for the players, and more importantly, it's great for the fans.
That's a good point. Rich, is this a year that a team outside the 6 major conferences will finally make it to the BCS title game?
Yeah, I think it's time to put that slipper on Cinderella, and I think that Cinderella could be Boise State. Look, the Broncos got a really easy schedule for the rest of the season. The next 3 are Tulsa, Hawaii, and San Jose State. Their toughest game in the upcoming future is Nevada. I think they got the WAC all wrapped up, and I think they'll be undefeated at the end of the season. That being said, I think the 5 teams above them in the AP poll right now, Florida, LSU, Alabama, Texas, and Virginia Tech, all have the capability of losing 1 or even more games in the future, all of them having to play conference championship games. I think those 2 things combined give Boise State a good chance to be in the national championship game.
See, Boise State's whole schedule has been easy. The combined record of their first 5 opponents is 7-16. They don't play anyone tough all year. And that's why I think the BCS committee, along with myself, would much rather take a team from the Big 12 or the SEC that goes 12-1, maybe even 11-2. You just can't have a team that doesn't play anyone. And if you match them up against some of these upper echelon opponents, as they have in the last few years ago, they're 3-4 against teams from the major 6 conferences. I think you put them up against Florida or Texas, they lose by 3 touchdowns.
I think the strength of schedule might hurt them in the computer system, but that Oregon win's going to look better and better. Oregon might finish as a top 10 team. They've got the potential to beat USC at home at Autzen Stadium in the upcoming weeks.
Which player in all of college football is the most critical to his team's success?
I think it's got to be Tim Tebow. I mean, this kid's a winner. He's got 2 national titles on his belt. He's got a Heisman Trophy. And his 3rd year as starter at Florida, he's 26-5. And if you look at his numbers, he's got 121 touchdowns. There's no other better player in college football. He's perfect for that system. His size, his speed, 6'3", 245, 44-6 at worst. I mean, this is a great player, and he's on the best team in the country, and that's why he's the most critical player to his team's success.
While there may be no better player, Sam Bradford is more important to his team than Tim Tebow is to the Florida Gators. You got to give Chris Leak some credit for that first national championship in Florida. But if you look at Sam Bradford, in 7 games against ranked opponents last season, Oklahoma averaged 45 points a game. Bradford threw for over 370 per game and averaged 3 touchdowns. You look at Landry Jones in just 2 games against ranked opponents this year. He has under 300 yards, only 1 touchdown, and above all, Oklahoma is 0-2. Sam Bradford is vital to their offense. It's circulated around him. And without Bradford, Oklahoma cannot be a contender in the Big 12.
See, the reason they're losing games is not just because of Sam Bradford not being there. It's this defense. And there are 2 games against ranked opponents, BYU and then Miami. They gave up 350 yards passing to Max Hall for BYU. And then against Miami last weekend, Ja'Cory Harris played fantastic after that first quarter. And Javaris James had 150 yards rushing. I mean, this defense just is not what it used to be. They're young, they're inexperienced, and that's why they're losing football games, not because of Landry Jones playing quarterback.
Both very talented and attractive choices. But when it comes to coaches, who would you choose to coach your team for a single game?
Now, it pains me to do this being a Jets fan, but I have to take Pete Carroll of the USC Trojans. He's completely turned the Trojan tradition around since coming in 9 years ago. He started 2-5 but in his next 74 games, he went 67-7. He's got the highest winning percentage of all coaches in college football. He's got 2 national championships, 7 consecutive Pac-10 victories, and 6 BCS championships. His track record is unbelievable. And above all, I want to be in the locker room singing Lean On Me with Bill Withers before a game. I love the lightheartedness. I love Pete Carroll.
See, the most important thing is those numbers, like you mentioned. I'm going with another man who has 2 national championships, and that's Urban Meyer. He's 87-17 as a coach, and he's won wherever he's gone. Bowling Green, Utah, Florida. And against his top opponents at Florida, that'd be Tennessee, Georgia, and FSU, he's 12-1. Everywhere he goes, he wins. And I mean, this guy had 4 weeks to prepare for the #1 team in the country, Ohio State, and he beat them by 27 in a game that was not even close. I mean, you can't argue with the stats and how well this guy prepares, along with recruits. You got to go with Urban Meyer.
Honestly, and this might be a little outlandish, you have to give some of that first national championship to Ron Zook. I can already hear the boos from Gainesville already. Ron Zook recruited that entire team, but I got to give Urban Meyer some credit. He coached them up, and he did a great job. But, hey, if Boise State doesn't make the national championship game, how about we have a Pete Carroll-Urban Meyer matchup to settle this once and for all?
Well, thanks, guys. We have to take another commercial break, but stay where you are because coming up, Aaron Moser and Lauren Wisneski pass out baseball hardware.
And the Candyman is back. You know the Candyman is back.
Well, hello. There's nothing more rewarding than helping a kid.
Now, a few observations. Imaginary friends, now you see them, now you don't.
Not all hidden talents are socially acceptable. Be conscious of size differences.
Moments like these happen every day.
Lend your support. Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Until next time.
Welcome back to One on One. I'm joined by Aaron Moser and Lauren Wisneski to award those who excelled on the baseball diamond this season. Let's start off with the top individual honor. Aaron, who's your pick for MVP this season?
Let's start National League here. Lauren, there's no doubt.
There's
Albert
no debate.
Pujols. There's no debate even. You can go all the way back as far as halfway through the season. All-Star break. He was all of baseball at that point. It was in St. Louis. He is St. Louis baseball. I don't care if they picked up Matt Holliday. He is St. Louis baseball. He's the best player in the league, hands down. It's got to be Albert Pujols.
I absolutely could not agree with you more. I mean, he's leading the league in home runs. He's third in the league in RBIs and batting average. I mean, you're right. How could you not pick him?
Obviously. He's got 47 home runs, as you said, leading the league. I mean, he's the best player in the National League by far.
Completely agree.
American League, I'm going to go ahead and take my man Joe Mauer. He's playing for the Twins. I think when you define an MVP, it's defined by who makes the team around them the best they can be. And it's got to be this man. The Twins would not even be in a playoff for the playoffs right now, let alone possibly making it to the playoffs, if he was not on this team. Morneau gets injured with a month left, and yet they still make a huge run, and they have a chance to get into the playoffs. You want to know why? It's because of Joe Mauer. He's a catcher. He manages the team. He knows all of his pitchers back and forward. I mean, I just don't see how he can't be MVP of the AL.
Well,